Alrighty, everyone, we are now heading into Oscar season, and that means that other awards shows are happening as well. And yeah, it means the Oscars are a couple weeks away, which is crazy. It's exciting. And so, what happened this past week? Well, the Critics' Choice Awards happened this past week. So I wanted to take some time to discuss the winners here, not in as great detail as we did with the Golden Globes, because I think, well, there's a lot here. And also, as I make my way through all of the Oscar films that I wanted to see. I'm not done yet, but I'm actually almost done. I think I have maybe a couple more films left to see. So as the months and the weeks go on, as we head towards the actual Academy Awards, my idea of these films and how I think they stack up against one another, regardless of my own opinion, just sort of why they got nominated and what they did well, what they didn't do well, according to critics, it's beginning to take shape, and I'm excited about that. And so, again, I wanted to just take some time here, because look, we don't take any of these other awards, like the Golden Globes or the Critics' Choice Awards or the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the WGA, DGA. We don't take any of those awards to be the be-all, end-all for Oscars, right? It's not like there's a formula where you go, oh, if the film wins X number of awards, and if it wins these specific kinds of awards, then it's a lock to win the Oscar. Oscar voters are Oscar voters, right? And the Critics' Choice Awards, I believe they're critics, they're their own voters, and the Golden Globes, it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, I believe. So everyone has their own voting bodies, and everyone thinks differently. But momentum is a very real thing, right? I think if you watch sports, you'll know this. Momentum is a very real and tangible thing. And these things don't happen in a complete vacuum, right? So again, Oscar voters may be looking at this and going, oh, okay, interesting. And then kind of making their own decisions. Not to say that they're not making impartial decisions or anything like that, but momentum is a real thing. So I'm going to go through the list of winners, and what we're going to do, we're not going to go, again, as in-depth as we did with the Golden Globes. I'm going to kind of skim through, look at the winners, and see if there are any surprising omissions or snubs or whatnot. But really just look at the winners and see, is it in line with the narrative that we've been seeing thus far, heading into the award season and also post-Golden Globes, and then see, how the thinking might have changed going into the actual Academy Awards. I'm not going to give, and again, not going to give my official predictions here. If you want to stay tuned to the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, give the video podcast segment a like, wherever you're watching, because in a couple weeks, I will be doing my full predictions of all the Oscar categories, or at least the big ones. I don't know about documentary short or, all that kind of stuff, but the big ones, I will be doing my own predictions, and also I'll be doing a separate ranking of all of the Oscar films that I've seen. I'm not planning on seeing every little Oscar film. I say little, just to describe the detail, like the quantity, right? I'm not going to see every single one, but I have made it a point to see at least all the Best Picture winners and a few of the other ones that were nominated for prominent acting categories as well. And so hopefully we will get there. I'm almost done. I think I have a couple more. So it's, again, I'm filling out my picture of what these movies look like and how they stack up against one another, what they're good at, what their strengths are heading into the season, etc., etc. That was a big intro to this segment, but let's actually get into the winners. So starting off here with the movies. Best Picture, Anora actually won. And this is interesting. Right away, we have a big shift in momentum because The Brutalist looked like it was going to really just start to pile on wins, at win after win after win, heading into the Oscar season, and that was the presumptive favorite. But then Anora comes out of nowhere. And Anora, if you guys remember, actually before the award season even started, Anora was kind of the quiet unspoken favorite amongst a lot of people. And then The Brutalist came along. The Brutalist started to take all those awards, and people were like, oh, yeah, okay, The Brutalist. And also you had Emilia Perez, which I'm only going to discuss, I guess I should mention, I'm only going to discuss the controversy surrounding Emilia Perez, insofar as things have happened, right? Things have definitely happened since the Golden Globes of the main actress who plays Emilia Perez said some things on Twitter that were very bad and made some comments. And so you can check out other YouTube videos. I've been watching some of videos like Dan Merle's, for example, where he explains the whole thing. So I'm not here to litigate, and I'm not here to rehash the whole narrative, but I will say that whether or not Emilia Perez had any chance to win these Best Picture awards, I think it's all but gone. I personally don't think it ever did, really, although it was much higher up than it is now, in my opinion. So, again, just wanted to point that out here as well. We'll talk more about Emilia Perez as we get to other categories later on. Let's move on to Best Actor, Adrien Brody, The Brutalist. This is one that is going to, that is, well, at least currently holding the line, and I don't expect that to change. Other actors like Timothée Chalamet, Daniel Craig, Coleman Domingo, Ralph Fiennes, Hugh Grant, all really strong contenders as well, but this one I think feels like, at this point, Adrien Brody's to lose. Best Actress, Cynthia Erivo, Carlos Sofia Gascon, Emilia Perez, again, if she had any chance, I think it's gone. Angelina Jolie, So Mikey Madison is interesting because she did not win. Demi Moore won for The Substance. This is her second win now, and this is kind of a surprise because entering the Golden Globes, people were like, whoa, Demi Moore, okay, she won the Best Actress award, and people were like, is this a one-off or is this going to continue? And then fast forward, and she wins again for The Substance. So this is interesting because if Anora is really getting all the momentum back, it's interesting that Mikey Madison herself, who plays Anora, is not getting that kind of same momentum because she has not won so far in any of the categories. So Demi Moore seems like she is all of a sudden not just becoming the dark horse, but becoming a slight favorite. So we'll have to see about that. Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin. Again, it's continuing on with that same momentum, same narrative. Best Supporting Actress, Zoe Saldana, who, again, going back to Emilia Perez, I think that Zoe Saldana is trying her absolute best to stay away from everything else that's going on here. Whether or not the Oscar voters will see it that way and will be fine with voting for her as the winner, because I do think that momentum is really on her side. Honestly, for me, Ariana Grande gave a fantastic performance in Wicked, and based on these other performances, because, Margaret Qualley is here as well for The Substance, but Margaret Qualley wasn't even nominated for the Oscar, so she's not even going to be in the Oscar consideration, even though she was really good in The Substance. Isabella Rossellini was in Conclave, and honestly, I'm kind of confused, because she gave a great performance in Conclave, but she never stood out to me as much as other people like Ariana Grande did, for example. So I find that interesting. So for me, I would look out for Ariana Grande, to be honest. And I think that that's a crazy thing to say. If you had, if you told me that I would be saying this a year earlier, I'd be like, no, that's crazy. Ariana Grande? What? For an Oscar? No. But again, I think it's really going to come down to whether Oscar voters can separate what's going on with the film itself, Emilia Perez, and what, Zoe Saldana gave. Because even then, even if you didn't like Zoe Saldana's performance, which I thought it was good, it was pretty good. It seems like it has all the momentum going forward. So we'll see. This category, I have no idea what it is. Best Young Actor / Actress, I've never heard of it. But Maisie Stella for My Old Ass won for Best Young Actor. Okay, I don't know anything about that category. So yeah, some of these categories for the Critics' Choice Awards are a little strange. Best Acting Ensemble goes to Conclave, which again, we're not going to talk about this too much because, they're not in the Oscars. But Wicked seems like an interesting snub. It was nominated. Also, Saturday Night. I haven't seen Saturday Night, to be fair, but Saturday Night feels like also a very big ensemble that people spoke very highly of, so kind of interesting. Best Director. Another winner that wasn't even nominated, John M. Chu for Wicked, and I applaud this because, look, you might be one to say, well, but the artistry of The Brutalist for Brady Corbett, who very well might win the award, or Sean Baker for Anora, who very well might win the award, or Coralie Farge, who may very well win for The Substance. You might be like, oh no, their artisanship and their vision and whatnot, and I get that. I think that they all directed their material incredibly, incredibly well, but the fact that John M. Chu didn't even get nominated, and of course Denis Villeneuve also didn't get nominated for the Oscar, and he's also nominated here, which is great to see. But, the Herculean effort it must have been to direct those songs and to direct just everything going on in Wicked. And, I get it that people are like, well, but, the musical was already there, so we had a template to work. It doesn't really matter to me. Nickel Boys, for example, based on a book. So there is, of course it wasn't adapted, right? But I don't think it, at least. But yeah, so I get that there is, sure, there's a visual element and you can kind of base the costumes and stuff. But the directing, I just think it's baffling that John M. Chu isn't getting more love for Wicked because, he did an incredible job with that movie, in my opinion. So that's interesting that he wins. And I think good for him. If he's not going to even get nominated for an Oscar, good for him that he wins here. Best Original Screenplay, Coralie Farge, The Substance. I think that's pretty interesting. I think that a lot of these films, honestly, this one is very up in the air for me because in terms of screenplay, whether or not I like the films or not, Anora, great screenplay. September 5, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't really comment. The Brutalist, just great screenplay. A Real Pain, really good writing. Challengers, I also haven't seen. So again, I think this one for me might be anyone's guess, and I might be monitoring this one until the last second until I do my predictions. Best Adapted Screenplay is Conclave, and I think this one is going to be Conclave's to lose. It's just been winning and winning and winning. Best Cinematography goes to Nosferatu, which I can see it. There's a lot of really great contenders here, obviously. Wicked, The Brutalist, Conclave. Conclave, I think Conclave was shot really well, but compared to Dune Part 2, and I think Nickel Boys has the novelty factor of being shot in first person, and it was shot really well, but I think The Brutalist stands out, Wicked obviously stands out, and obviously Dune Part 2. I don't know, guys. Dune Part 2, it's hard to argue with Dune Part 2. Granted, I haven't seen Nosferatu, and I know that I've seen the trailers, and it's shot very stylistically and very well, so I don't know. But, Dune Part 2, it's hard to argue, and Greg Fraser is an icon in this space, so. Best Production Design goes to Wicked, I think deservedly so. That's great. Best editing goes to Challengers. Interesting. I think it was also nominated for an Oscar in this category, so we'll see if that has any bearing later on. Best costume design goes to Wicked. Yup, that makes total sense to me. The Gladiator 2, Dune Part 2 for sure. Conclave, sure, Conclave, but not to the scale of Wicked. So I think Dune Part 2 and Gladiator 2 are probably its biggest competition, but I think Wicked deserves it by far and away. Best hair and makeup, though, does not go to Wicked, which was also nominated, but actually goes to The Substance. And I actually... For once, I'm not going to jump on the Wicked bandwagon. I actually agree with this. The Substance, for those of you who have seen The Substance, does a lot with hair and makeup. And it is freaky and it is crazy, but it does a great job at conveying, what it wants to convey. Whether or not I liked what they conveyed in terms of looking at it is another story. But in terms of what they were able to do, it was actually quite phenomenal. And then Best Visual Effects goes to Dune Part 2, which I'm really happy about. Although I will say, I think Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has an argument here, just because of the sheer motion capture and apes CGI. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm happy for Dune Part 2, and we'll see if it continues that momentum. Best Animated Feature does not go to Flow, because I think if Flow wins here, you start to think, okay, maybe Flow is starting to get that momentum and really steamroll to the win. But here, The Wild Robot. And now I think it once again becomes an open race between Flow and The Wild Robot, and we'll see where it goes from there. This is interesting. Best Comedy, well, A Real Pain, which, I don't know, it was amusing in some parts, but it was also kind of sad. But then, another winner, they have a tie here, Deadpool and Wolverine is a Critics' Choice Awards winner. Great. Out of these films, I haven't seen many of them, to be fair, but Deadpool and Wolverine has won a Critics' Choice Award, so there is that. Best Foreign Language Film goes to Emilia Perez over I'm Still Here. Again, it will be very interesting to see whether the Oscar voters will continue to vote for Emilia Perez even in these kinds of categories, because I don't think they will for Best Picture, but we'll see if they will for Foreign Language Film. Even though another Oscar Best Picture nominated film, I'm Still Here, is nominated in this category as well. And speaking of which, Best Song El Mal in Emilia Perez is also nominated, and so again, same kind of thing there. And also another song from Emilia Perez was nominated there as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Best Score actually goes to Challengers, which was also nominated. So we'll see if Challengers has a leg to stand on there. Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wild Robot, Brutalist, Conclave. Yep, the usual suspects here. And then we're going to go through TV very quickly because we've kind of been going long already. But, Best Drama, Shogun. Shogun has been basically sweeping all the categories. Best Actor goes to Shogun. Best Actress goes to Matlock, Kathy Bates. Really happy for her. Best Supporting Actress goes to Shogun. Best Supporting Actor goes to Shogun. Again, sweeping all of these categories. Best Comedy, Hacks. Guys, because other people actually were nominated for Shrinking in another category, Shrinking won. Where is Shrinking? That's my obligatory Where is Shrinking mention in every single awards video. Best Actor in a Comedy Series, Adam Brody, who I thought almost was Adrian Brody, which I was going to be super impressed if he was doing comedy series as well. Nobody Wants This from Netflix. And then let's move on. Best Actress in a Comedy Series goes to Jean Smart from Hacks. So Hacks is also winning big in this category. But then, Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series, Michael Urie for Shrinking, which, great. Again, great. The fact that this is the only nomination, though, because Harrison Ford, I think, deserved a Best Supporting Actor nomination in a Comedy Series at the very least. Having, again, with the huge caveat that I haven't seen a lot of these shows, have been focusing on the movies for now, in terms of the Oscar race. So we'll see. I guess, in the future, if I watch these series and go, yeah, maybe all of them are better than Harrison Ford, I find that hard to believe, though. And also, I liked Michael Urie a lot. I like his character a lot. I forget his name. He's the best friend, right? I like him a lot. I really do. Is he the fact that he's the only one that's nominated, though? It's kind of baffling to me. Hacks also wins for Best Actress in a Comedy Series, and then we get to Best Limited Series, and here we have The Penguin was nominated, Baby Reindeer won, Best Movie Made for Television was Rebel Ridge, and then we have The Penguin actually winning huge here in this limited series or movie made for television category. Colin Farrell wins Best Actor. Kristen Milioti wins Best Actress. Amazing. Love to see that. If there is any doubt that Penguin is going to get a season 2, I think it is being squashed as we speak. Best Supporting Actor in a Limited Series, Liev Schreiber, The Perfect Couple. Never heard of it. Best Supporting Actress in a Limited Series, Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer. So that's, again, winning big. And then we have Best Foreign Language Series, which goes to Squid Game. Oh, Squid Game. There we go. I actually didn't see that at first. Best Animated Series goes to X-Men 97, so there you go. The MCU gets a nod. Best Talk Show, John Mulaney. Best Comedy Special, Ali Wong. And I think there is one. Nope, that is it. Okay, so guys, those were the winners for the Critics' Choice Awards. And look, I mean, there are some interesting narratives going on here entering the Oscar season. Number one, being that Anora has suddenly come out of nowhere and resuscitated itself and its chances for a Best Picture win, which is interesting. Other categories like Best Supporting Actor, Kieran Culkin seems like it's his to lose. Best Actor, Adrian Brody seems like it's his to lose. But the Actress category, Demi Moore coming out of nowhere, not nowhere, but coming out and really solidifying herself as I would say the frontrunner for Best Actress. And Supporting Actress, I think, is totally up for grabs. I think for now, we'll place the incumbency on Zoe Saldana. So Zoe Saldana, excuse me. But I think Margaret Qualley would have had a chance if she was nominated, and Ariana Grande, I think, has a chance, which is super interesting. So we will see about that. Guys, what do you think about these winners for the Critics' Choice Awards? Are you surprised by any of these picks, or do you think this all makes sense to you? And do you have any updated Oscar predictions based on this? Let me know in the comments down below.